Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Music Talks podcast, the show where I talk about music from the past and present, and it's the number one destination for you to find music that you are definitely going to like. I just wanted to make an update about the podcast and kind of just give you guys an update about where I stand, what the podcast and what the future holds for it. As people know, I started Music Talks last year around this time. It was about May, possibly, I think end of May, beginning of June is when I started doing the Music Talks podcast. Well, around that time, a lot of stuff happened personally with nothing bad. It was just a lot of personal stuff that kind of came up. And I also had two other podcasts at the time. Well, one of the podcasts, Lethal Venom, which is my main podcast now, sort of took off and just made it to where I couldn't really focus on anything else but that podcast. So this podcast went on a indefinite hiatus. I know that I covered two albums before going on this huge hiatus and kind of just abandonment of the podcast. Well, I wanted to tell you that I'm not giving hope on the podcast. I'm not giving this podcast up. The podcast is still going to be around. I do have a lot of episodes and podcasts planned for this show. The problem that I have with it is that there's a lot of planning that I like to do. And a lot of that planning is what's really caused a lot of the kind of delay in episodes coming out. So I don't know if I'm just wanting to not do the background information, maybe just do like small things, like if there's any unhidden tracks or unreleased songs from albums, I'd write those down just to have those down. And I just don't want to do like the whole album breakdowns like I normally do. I still like to because it makes it to have makes it where I have a lot of good notes going into the show. And it's a lot of planning, but if that's what's going to hold me back, I might just have to think about that. There's so many episodes I have planned. I originally have so many albums that I have listened to like years and years ago and that have led up to today that I have on file and have like a plan for it. So I am planning on doing all those albums. So I don't want people to think that I don't have albums ready. I have like I think 100 episodes planned. It's just to sit down to try to do the final product. Um, so that's kind of where this podcast is standing at. It's I have a lot of episodes planned and have a lot of ideas. It's just time to sit down and record it. I'm not putting this podcast on hold. I'm not abandoning it. I'm keeping the podcast. This podcast will stay around. I am hoping to get episodes start to plan out this year. I don't want to give an exact date just to not give like hype for it and give you expectations just to be let down. So yeah, if there's anything that comes up, just stay up to date with the podcast. Well, since the podcast is really taken off, there are a lot of promotions and a lot of places where you can go now to actually find the podcast. So, that's kind of where everything is. I do apologize for the latency in episodes, but this is just I'm finally being able to sit down and record. So, if you would like to keep updates about where the podcast is and would like to keep updates about future shows and everything, feel free to just go to my website, noahspodcast.com, NOAHSPODCASTS.com. There you'll find all the information regarding my podcast, as well as just to keep updates up to date about what's going on in the future. I do have a blog that will be coming out where I do post kind of in-depth album reviews on there, so feel free to go check those out. The albums that I have for Sweetener and Sour are already on there, so feel free to go check those out. Feel free to also follow the podcast on the socials just to keep up to date about when updates for the podcast will come out. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Music Talks Pod. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Noah's Podcast. And also feel free to go check out that website as well. And also, you feel free to get Music Talks wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Pandora. It's everywhere, so feel free to follow or subscribe to where you get notified of when new episodes come out. Again, thank you to everyone for being so patient with me, and I'm excited to be able to start posting new episodes now. Feel free to leave recommendations if you have recommendations for albums for me to cover. Please list them. I will put them on the list to have reacted to. And I will put all these links and everything down in the description box below. Thank you again for this little update. This is not going to be a very long episode. Hope you all are having a great rest of your day. Hope you all are being safe. And I will see you on the next episode of Music Talks.